There is a box in the corner of my sewing room. It is a box whose contents have not seen the light of day for many a month. Many crafters will be familiar with this box, in all of its forms. There's the ever-growing amorphous lump that lies underneath your desk, the monster underneath your bed, the stuff you vacuum packed in a fit of organization and stuffed into your garage in the hopes that you'd never have to deal with it again. This, my friends, is the unfinished sewing pile. Welcome back! Today's video is a sequel of sorts to my previous video where I turned this dress here into a romper. Now, the method that I showed you in episode 12 works well for any dress that has a zipper, buttons, ties up at the front, or has some other method that allows you to pull the dress up over your hips and waist. However, what about dresses that you pull on over your head? The dress that I pulled out of the style piles for this video was this dress here. Notice how it doesn't have a zipper up the back? Yeah. The reason why that's important will be obvious very soon. So, excited as I was by my previous rompification, I also started turning this dress into a romper in the exact same way that I did in episode 12. But then I hit a pretty obvious snag when I got up to the stage where I had to put the romper on my body, because there was now a couple of leg holes in the way. Whoops. So I decided that I would open up the back of the dress to allow me to get it on, and to make it pretty, I'd also turn this opening into a lace-up corset back. So next, I placed the romper front side down like this, and I sliced straight down the center back using some scissors, ending at my lower back. Then I folded each raw edge in about 1/2 inch, tapering the fold at the bottom of the slit, and then I sewed a straight stitch down each of these raw edges, effectively hemming the sides like this. Next, I turned the romper inside out, and with a fabric marker, I drew small dots on evenly up either side of the slit. Now, I shouldn't have made marks all the way up to the top of the romper. I should have only done them up to here. We'll see why in just a bit. Anyway, for each of the dots that I had marked out, I poked a small hole through each one, and then I inserted an eyelet through that hole, smooth side on the right side of the fabric, rough side of the eyelet on the wrong side of the fabric. Once all the eyelets were inserted, it looked like this. And again, I shouldn't have added these top few eyelets, and I promise you'll soon see why. Anyway, I then started lacing up the eyelets using a piece of ribbon, lacing them up how you would lace up a pair of shoes. And I slowly came to the realization that once the romper was laced up all the way, I would still have my original problem of not being able to get it on. Not unless I had help from somebody else who was going to lace me up into the romper each time I wanted to wear it, which would present a little bit of a problem every time I wanted to take the romper off to use the bathroom. Yeah, so I had to rethink this whole lace-up corset situation. So while I was lacing it up, when I got to about the 5th or the 6th eyelet pair from the top, I kept trying the romper on my body to see if I could still pull it on. When I got up to the 4th eyelet pair from the top, I realized that this was the furthest that I could lace it up and still put it on. So I then gave the romper an open V-back by folding the top edges of the romper in, underneath the inside of the romper's back like this, and then stitching over the top. You can see that I've pinned the one on the right hand side already. Now, because I'd already inserted eyelets, I had to hand stitch this so that I wouldn't run over the eyelets with my sewing machine, which is why I wish that I hadn't inserted eyelets all the way up to the top. If the eyelets weren't in here, I'd be able to go over this with my sewing machine. Anyway, we learned from our mistakes, and in the end, I still had this super cute romper with a lace-up corset back that I think is much more interesting than the original dress that I upcycled it from. I hope that you enjoyed these 2 episodes on turning dresses into rompers. If you haven't seen the first one already, then make sure you watch it. And as always, if you tried this or any of my other tutorials, then please tag them with DIY Annika on Instagram, because I love seeing what you guys come up with. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye! Thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon for making these videos possible. To become my Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/AnnikaVictoria.